Hello, welcome to this your channel, the band Eurofan. Text me. This time we start a new series, discovering little by little the artists that will participate in the next edition of the contest to be held on Malmö, Sweden. After the victory of the Scandinavian country on British soil last May, after the multilingual proposal presented by the girls of Pedestal in this year's contest, achieving a very remarkable 10th place in the ranking, Czechia moves on with its participation, looking forward to keep improving their results in the competition. Let's take a look who will be the artists that will represent the Bohemian country this time on the main stage of Malmö. Here we go. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Czech entry for Eurovision 2024, which will be represented by singer Aiko with the song Pedestal. We start by making a review of her biography and career before she embarks in her Eurovision adventure on Swedish lands. Alena Shirmanova-Kostovelova, mostly well known as Aiko, is a Czech singer and songwriter. Born in Moscow, Russia, raised in Karlovy Vary, Czechia, and currently living in Brighton, United Kingdom. It is not clear why she offered that stage name, taking into account that it's a common Japanese name, and it can be confused very easily as well with the Japanese singer of the same name, although in this case it is her real name, and already having a musical career since almost 3 decades. Coming back to Czech Aiko, which is the one we are focusing. Artistically speaking, she's considered as an exceptional singer, due to the mix of cultures and musical influences she has, with a deep vision, talking often about love, solitude, and self-comprehension in her compositions, which serves as a way of introspection and connection with herself. Before starting her musical career as an artist, she will participate in 2015 in the 4th season of the Czech Slovak version of Idol, naming those countries as Československá Superstar, reaching to the semi-finals during that season. Then in 2018 she will release her first EP, which did not have too much promotion and transcendence. But later she will release her first 2 studio albums. The first one released in 2020, while the second one has been released just in last October, although many of the singles featured in the album have been promoted since a couple of years ago, performing them as well in musical festivals in both Czechia and United Kingdom. Besides her musical side, she has collaborated in ad campaigns for big brands like Red Bull, H&M, L'Occitane or MAC Cosmetics. She has also made history recently by being the first female Czech artist to be featured on Times Square in New York City, United States. And she also has been the first female Czech artist to participate in the worldwide campaign Spotify Equal, as part of her commitment with inclusion and equality in the musical industry. Having seen a little more of her, you must wonder how is that she became to be the Czech representative for the contest. We are going to check it out right now in detail. As it is having been usual, the Czech Public Broadcaster will organize what is going to be the 6th edition of their national final Eurovision Song Contest to pick both the artists and the song that will represent the country on Sweden. It was open as submission period in last mid-October for the artists and songwriters who were interested in sending their proposals, closing it by early last November. For the interested artists, it was required for them to have the Czech or Slovak citizenship, while the songwriters could be from any nationality. By the deadline, it was revealed from the broadcaster that they received over 200 proposals, surpassing the record achieved on last year. Then, a selection committee formed by members of the Czech delegations on the Austrian singer Cesar Sanson appointed as a musical advisor, also being known as well as the Austrian representative at Eurovision in 2018 on Lisbon, Portugal, will be in charge of reviewing the received proposals, reporting in last mid-November that they will reveal shortly the 5 artists that will participate in the national final, which were later increased up to 7 with the official announcement at the end of the same month being Aiko among them. Some of the candidate songs were released the same day of the announcement, while the remaining ones were released the same day of the televised show. I'm talking about the show, by the way, it took place earlier this month, in which this time, compared to last year, year. There was an audience allowed for the very first time in the venue where the national final was held. In the other hand, Cesar himself participated in the show as a co-host, giving interviews to the finalists before taking their turn onto the stage. Once all of them performed their proposals live. Like last edition, the voting window was opened through the official Eurovision app for the public to select their favorite, closing it just a week later. The winner will also be determined like last time with a combination of the votes of the international audience, with a weight of the 70% of the votes, and the Czech audience with the remaining 30%. 2 days after the closure of the voting window, it was revealed after the counting of the votes that Aiko was the absolute favorite from the international audience, while she was the 5th most voted artist from the Czech audience. By the way, it comes to attention, because the preferences were quite different this time, although it did not block her to get the points needed to win the national final, and therefore gaining the right of representing Czechia on Monday. A statement of self-empowerment to put herself at the top. Going to analyze right now this proposal presented by her, which is also the latest single of her most recent studio album. The melody is a pop rock track in this case, which transmits a carefree character. Aiko's voice, on the other hand, is fine. It has more intensity during the chorus, so they can be said in general terms that it is just good. Regarding the lyrics, it has been written by herself in English, language in which she usually does her musical work, talking about the background behind it. She describes it as an empowerment and self-love anthem, focusing on the determination to take priority on our emotional independence, as well as giving priority and value to oneself towards life issues, especially toxic relationships. Reading the lyrics in detail, it can be appreciated all these comments from her. The verses express being fed up and disappointed by that person that it could be a partner or a friend, before the emotional manipulation she experiences from that person, rather deciding to focus on her self-esteem and emotional well-being, to learn to put herself on a pedestal just like the chorus. In this sense, the message transmitted with the song is quite implicit. I would like to this as well that besides being more conscious of our self-value, it is also important to get surrounded by people who can really contribute and complement our lives. As it is usually said, it is not part of a solution, and least to not let it be part of the problem. We have already a first idea of what is this song about, so I will analyze now the official music video that supports this proposal. It begins with some shots with fisheye effect, where Aiko is seen inside a sort of room, with many parts covered with aluminum covers, giving the impression that it's in process of refurbishing or something, alternating with general shots of her, with a group of people standing in circle around her in a big hall. When the first chorus comes, she is seen doing a very energetic and careless dance, probably expressing with it that feeling of emotional freedom. Then by the second verse, the scene is different, where Aiko appears on a white cube, making allusion to that pedestal like the song's title, wearing a beige fancy dress, in comparison with the previous one seen in the previous shots which were more casual. The dynamic changes a little with the second chorus, as the people who were gathered in circle around her started to dance carelessly to the rhythm of the music, while there were alternations of all the previous scenes. This dynamic remains until the end of the performance, with a general shot of her sitting on her pedestal, which is the white cube in this case. We have already seen more about the song and the concept portrayed in the official music video. Let's take a brief look at how she has presented her proposal during her participation on Eurovision Song Contest, recalling her live performance in the national final. Taking into account that the national final was organized in a club, there was not much they could do with a minimal stage set. A drummer and a guitarist are seen performing their musical instruments. Judging to what it was being seen, I had the impression that they were not playing the musical instruments live, but these were props as part of the performance. And then Aiko is seen joined by two dancers. It comes to attention that the outfit she wore is technically identical to the one worn by Chanel when she performed slow-mo at Festival de Canção during the Eurovision pre-season of last year. Many will say that it's part of the Chanel effect because she wants to imitate her or look like her. Many others will say that it is not a big deal, as you can easily find a leotard like that one for 60 or 70 euros in any H&M or Primark store, that we do not have to exaggerate with that. But this does not end here, because I was not expecting her performing a careless choreography with the dancers while she started to perform the song. With the first verse, everything is okay so far, but the chorus comes and she starts to face difficulties. While they make a choreography which looks like an aerobics routine, it is pretty noticeable how she starts to look choked with her voice while dancing at the same time. I'm not sure if she usually sings and dances during her live performances, but it is quite evident that she's struggling with it. The performance continues with the same dynamic, and the struggle continues for her as well. And then, after finishing the last chorus, being bent down on the stage floor, she gives a quite shrilling shout. Even I got startled with the impression. Fortunately, I was not using earphones, otherwise she would have left me dead for a long while. Girl, you had to warn about those things. The performance finishes with her and the dancers gathering again at the center of the stage, while the band finishes playing the song. Making a summary of all the comments, the Czech entry for next year does not get much of my attention. The song is not of my particular taste, I have to say, although I do not dislike it either. I think it transmits a powerful message adding some rebellious and careless character. And then, taking into account that she was massively booed by the international audience in the national final, she could have chances when she presents her proposal to the rest of Europe. Ahead of the stage in Malmo. Right now there are not many clues of how they have planned to do it, although if they want to follow the same trends in international final, they already had a lot of work to do. If she gets choked herself there again, she will be pretty penalized for sure, especially by the judges. I can imagine her doing from now by intensified aerobic and vocal training in high heels, like Chanel usually does it by the way, as part of her training before her live performances, which are a great show as we already know, so they will better take note of it. Anyway, there are many months ahead, so they have a good improvement margin to polish it from now until next May. In fact, it will not be the first time they will face a situation like this one. It happened last year when the guys of We Are Dummy represented Czechia on tour in Italy, in which Dominika was criticized by her vocal performance during the participation of the trio at the Eurovision pre-parties of that season. In the end, they took note of those imperfections. They made the necessary adjustments, and the performance was noticeably improved during the contest, getting a spot as one of the finalists. In the meanwhile, we have to wait until May of next year to see the final result of this proposal. And you, what do you think about the Czech entry for this year? Leave your comments down below and let's start the discussion. And this is it for today's episode. As usual, give a like to this video if it was of your taste, subscribe to my channel and enable notifications, you will help me a lot with that. And don't forget to follow me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.